Right.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Ralph Miete, the programmer of the SRC4U software, and I want to go a little bit into uh, what or how the balances or balancing of energies actually work. Um, it's a simple principle, but it seems to be uh, a confusion about the subject, and so I want to help out a little bit about it and see if it makes it more understandable. Then we will have this discussion in this segment as well, open for any kind of comments. And so before we start to talk and discuss the balancing, I would like to hear from you what you individually think how balancing of energies work. So if I may, I start with Deborah. What do you think how balancing of energy works?
You're talking about in general?
Yes.
Well, I think putting yourself in the right position, the right mindset, eating right, plenty of water, sleeping. I think most of that is what contributes to it.
Okay, this is a global standpoint of view that is definitely something which plays a role in the balancing. So let's go to Ronald. What is your
I was going to say the same thing. Balancing to me is if a person has a certain condition, a lot of times I'll be a little confused on it, and then I think to myself, well, I think balancing will be the best thing for them, because I always work by through my intuition. So I will take it in, and balance the whole thing out. And it depends on the condition that I'm working with too. That's the way I look at it.
correct? That is as well a part of the theory. That is as well correct. So how about Leslie?
I was gonna say a little bit like what Ron was saying, but for the most part, I feel when I look at whatever I'm balancing, I look at it on, okay, whatever the potential problem is, and then I look at it on all areas, from a mind, body, and spirit, just on all levels. So I take everything in accordance, all those aspects when I'm working with somebody. To me, that requires, because all those things have to be in balance, to me, mind, body, and spirit. So I look at that in terms of myself, because I have to be, I mean, for me, that's my overall achievement, mind, body, each day I work at, my diet, my mind, my physical, getting my exercise. So I'm working those components daily in my life. So that's how I consider it to be
That is
a balance.
that is actually a very good explanation. Or not explanation, but it's a very good viewpoint. Raul, how about you?
Well, I don't know. I have the way I have a I don't know. I have a way that I've been using it for many years. It's pretty much the same type of concept, but basically, I see my heart as a kind of gyroscope type of thing, if you want to say, a balancing, a vortex, and it's pretty much the same thing. I'm going to go in my healing room. I'm going to stand and ground. I'm going to find the vertical axis. I'm going to find the horizontal axis, and I'm going to find the lateral axis, the 3 planes. And then with my heart as a kind of central kind of gyroscope, I'm going to feel, hang on a second, my body's too far forward, it's too far back, too far to the right, too far to the left. I'm too compressed this way, I'm too compressed that way, too much energy in the upper half, not enough in the lower bottom. And I generally sort of, I'm plugged into my inner, it's my consciousness and my overall physical energy from my central channel and my heart that I then says, okay, hang on a second. No, I've got too much energy on the upper half, so I'm going to bring the energy down. Just
All
bring it-
right.
Or
Okay.
sometimes it's too much, I got to bring energy from behind. I just balance myself through consciousness, energy, and intent with the central axis and the heart. And I go from there. And that's been my discipline for a long time. And if I'm tired or lazy, if I'm too tired, it's just my right so far, my left, so I'll bring myself back to center. I've been slouching too much, I've got to strengthen my spine. But it's always with that gyroscope and my overall sense of energy to balance myself from my inner core. That's all. So anyway.
All right. So you're going actually more in the physics, in and I would call it the aura field, and using the aura to balance yourself in detecting energy differences within your energetic field. Okay, that is actually honest to God, very good. So Susan, what's your idea about that?
I would start with clearing myself, clearing out thoughts and energies from my body that I don't need, and balancing, bringing up energies from the earth center into my body, and proceeding from there.
Yeah, your sound went a little haywire, but thank you, Susan. And how about Kelly? I haven't talked to you for a while, so nice to see you tonight.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, so for me, what it is examining all the subtle energy fields that are accessible to the body, whether they run through the body or they're perhaps at flower bodies or in the auric layers, quantum layers, looking at all subtle energy fields accessible to the body, and then going into energetic disparities in such a way that I don't perceive a difference between the energy and the matter, and then bringing equanimity of energy flowing without disruption in a state of balanced ease. In this way, I'm not moving energy away, but transmuting the network so that we can access harmony again.
That is as well a good practical advice. So that we already come to a point where probably every one of us has a different opinion about the balancing and what's actually ongoing. I want to start actually in a little different format. I want to first show you what happens even if you don't think of balancing at all in our energetic field. Okay, so I want to share the screen with you. And I have made a little program specifically only for today. And it's called Balancing the Energies. It's a teeter-totter, and you know, so I put up quite a few windows to explain different things in a different fashion. So when you look here at the site, it has a function which says 10, here it says 35, here it says 75, and here it says 133, and so on. The higher the number, the slower the action will be. Okay. When you are going in a grocery shop today, you go grocery shopping, you meet a person which has negative energy. So what happens is that your overall balance, which is nicely balanced like now, will be offset. Okay. Then you meet another person inside the store which has a positive attitude. You're more attracted to them. And so what will happen is that you get the opposite effect, and it will tilt the other direction. Okay. So if I combine the two, it will balance each other out. Now, we are not aware how many things are happening to us on a daily basis. We are absolutely not aware, and we are not aware about the intensity they are producing within us. So to give you an idea, I go to the lowest one and hit the start button, which says 350. And when I click the start button here, you see there will be an action which is happening. And that's, you know, a slow process of going into your body and doing something. So the slow process is more compatible to you eating food, because you're not eating food all the time. And it needs time to digest and so on. So it's a slow process. It will be intake, consumed, and then producing the energy required for your body. So when I click stop on this, so it balances itself out. Okay. Then there are processes like, for instance, the process of aggression, which I mentioned here in the first one. You meet a person which is really negative. And when I click start on this one, that's the action I'm getting. It really puts a lot of stress in you. Okay. And you're not aware of it. You're absolutely not aware of it. If I meet a positive person, which is the next one on the line, and I click start on this one, the action is already slowed down, but your heartbeat is elevated. You are more, drawn to this person. Okay. If you have like a situation in traffic where somebody cuts you off, you might get this action. It's already slower than the first two. And in normal life, what I found out, or what I'm want to demonstrate, I came more to this action and up. And you see the difference. It feels like it is a continuous flow. The balance of energy from one side to the other looks, when you just look at it in picture speed, like it is a flow. It flows from positive to negative. It's not like a jerky action or a hyper action like here, or a jerky action like here. You really can see the difference in how those move. But now you have to envision that you have thousands of those actions happening within you at any time. And I'm probably a little too low in the number thousands. It might be way, way more. So,
Than 1,000?
pardon?
You say more than 1,000?
Oh yeah, you just a distraction. You
Oh.
know, you listen to the TV, you get a keyword, you start thinking in another line. So all those things are influences in our body, in our electrical field which surrounds us. And so I could open now 10 more windows to demonstrate this, but you know, you have a continuous action going on, some very aggressively, like in the upper left window, and some really slow, like in the one which is has the 350 on there. So they as well would require now a new balance so that the slow one will counterbalance the extremely fast one up there. So the more situations appear around you, which surrounds you, the more imbalances can affect yourself and your system. And it is happening on a permanent basis. That means it's happening
All the
every
time.
second of our life. Yes.
Mm.
What I want to come to is really what we have in the premium and what we do inside the premium. And it gives you a better understanding how we are working with balancing the energies. So I just put my name in and that's it. And I hit the wonder click. So now what you will see is the macros 1, 2, 3. Okay. So just envision that this macro here is the is like one of those balancing engines which I have brought up here. And you see the peel on the bottom here under full view and how slow it ticks. So this is more this one down here. Okay. So it's a slow moving action. It is slowly going in and repairing things. Okay. When you see up here the red fields, the red would be like this one here. All right. Just to make it more graphically understandable. So the intensity which is displayed here is the speed of the balancing act. And because there are so many things which need to be balanced, now envision that within the premium, and to do this again, I open the theme box and I go down to the tree of life. So we start here with meridians. We go over organs. We go over sinus sinus in the bone. We go over all those things. Each of those subtitles is one of those windows, is one of the balances here.
Hmm.
So if you go through the whole list of them, and believe me, there are hundreds, so you understand how many of those little things we need to take care of.
So each one of those things are being balanced out. Huh?
Well, all of them are addressed with their own little balance system, yes. And so it becomes a huge undertaking of trying to balance the energies out. And in the themes, we have 20 of them, as you know. And the themes itself, each one of them is one of the major balances which gets kicked into place. Again, the intensity, the color will produce the speed and how they work. So you as well have to multiply what you saw in the tree of life by all those factors about here, by all of them. So now we are in the thousands of little balances kicking off. And what I want to bring up, with this video is actually that you have to be aware that any situation you are in life at any given time will create one of those little windows. And depending on what it is, if it is positive or negative, you will feel the difference in your energetic field, and it will be intensified by the subject you are confronted with. So one could be hate, like the one with the 10. Some could be love, like the one with the 350, which I should name 342, but anyhow, so things like this is what is ongoing with us, and the awareness of it is what I wanted to address with this little video, and with the little program I made to demonstrate it, so that it is more understood that we are always in flux. So everything you said had been correct in any form and fashion, but it was only correct for that moment you said it. Because after that, already your energy shifted, already changed, and it changed with everyone listening to what other people had to say. It influenced you either positive or negative, and it changed your whole energetic field. And so it just happened with us talking about the introduction and what you believe the balancings of energy actually stands for. So the awareness needs to be there that every word we use, every action we do will change your energetic field, and instantly. So theoretically, you have to balance yourself 300% of every moment you are not sleeping or awake. Actually,
Wow.
honestly, the best time to balance yourself is within your sleep. But okay, I open the discussion again to anyone who wants to put a comment. And specifically, what I would like is criticism on what I just said or told you. And if this is valuable to you or not, whatever I told you.
So what you're saying, Ralph, is the, SRC automatically does the balancing, right? It does it automatically. And
Yes.
it's not like, well, we gotta figure out if it's balancing or not. It's already done.
It is doing all those things for you. Yes,
Right.
it is playing all those teeter-totters, you know, in synchronicity with the subject matter.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, that makes sense to me.
So, any more opinions, please? I would love to invite you to give me some opinions, and specifically if this helped you in any form and fashion, this little explanation I came up with.
I was gonna say that just after hearing you talk again, it's just like I mean, everything is energy and it's constantly in flux. And when you're in your now, you could achieve perhaps maybe your higher vibrations depending on where your attention's going. But just what you're saying was just that reminder that everything is energy and energy is constantly changing and it's in flux. Just to sum it up, that's just what I got from it, just short and sweet. And so when we're using each and, well, when you're using your P4, that's what it's doing. It's taking all those things that are not in flux and in harmony and just like peeling the layer, peeling the onion, bringing back everything back into its that 300, as you were saying, we should be at 300, bringing us back up to our 300. I don't know if I explained that as I was thinking it. So.
No, it came through what you wanted to say. Anybody else with a comment, please?
Yeah, I've got one, just a simple question. How would you, if you put one belief, like so we're built, our foundation is like belief structures. If you put, how would that seesaw look like on a specific belief that you had, positive or negative? How would that specific belief be affected by the balancing?
Not at all, because and that is actually how I want to conclude, but I can pull it up a little bit early. So the demonstration I'm making here has another reason as well. And it means your surrounding. It means your environment you're living in. So we already know better food will help us. We already know that positive stuff for us to keep it around us helps us. But it's more than that. It is as well more that you don't listen to the negative influences, that you don't surround you with people which are not like-minded, that you don't do these and that and this. It's not easy, and I honestly have to be I have to be honest with you. It's not easy to find an environment where you feel home. It's not easy to even in that environment to keep the positivity up all the time. But what I want to express with this is the closer you come to being in an environment which supports you, the easier it is to balance yourself out and to have a healthy and nice life, for your future. So keeping the riffraff out. That would be my statement at the end. to make really a point that you can help yourself in being positive, surrounding you with positive beings, listening to positive things, keep your mind focused on the positive side,
Incentive.
and this way you when you get influenced by somebody yelling at you at a red light or whatever, it doesn't bother you. It just gets wiped off because your barrier is so strong that it will just bounce off of you. So Susan, how about you?
How about me? What do you mean?
So what is your comment to what I demonstrated here?
Well, that's absolutely true. And as you were going through stuff, I was thinking about being in certain situations. And like when you're talking about going to the store, you're near somebody who's very negative, or you're near somebody who's very positive, and it's difficult to put a shield around yourself to protect your own balance, your own energies from the things around you. I mean, I think it would be difficult to do that. And that's probably because I haven't trained myself to do it yet. And so it's like when I'm in traffic and somebody cuts me off, it's like I'm trying to think that perhaps they're having a bad day, or they just didn't see me, or whatever it might be. But sometimes there's cases where, and I had this happen to me when I was in traffic one day, and I wanted to get into the left-hand turn lane, which I did, but the guy in front of me was like 10 feet away from the car, and I was trying to, get his attention to move up a little bit because my rear end in the wrong lane, and he actually flipped me off, and I just thought, wow,
Wow.
he's having a bad day. But then it just got worse because when we both turned, he waited for me to get ahead, and he tailed me. And I'm like going, okay, this guy's got a problem, and he thinks he's going to take it out on me. And I had to like just keep going, making turns and making turns and making turns until he finally stopped and went on his way. But I mean, I was like going, okay, I don't want to be the target of his ill feelings today, but he made me in that position. And so I was just like going, okay, I need to get out of his field. And so I was in a small neighborhood, and I just kept turning down different streets. And finally, he couldn't pass me because the roads were so narrow and there was other traffic. And so he finally just gave up. And I mean, it's like, wow, I don't know what he experienced before that, but it must have been a doozy.
Yeah. The answer to that.
Yeah, so sometimes
Yeah, that's
sometimes,
right.
you can be, yeah, right. But there are times when you're just like going fight or flight. I don't remember that, so I'm getting out of here as fast as I can.
Right. Yeah.
So that was my first response. But yes, I do agree with you. As you're truly clear, it's a very, a very important thing to keep number one on your mind when you're in situations like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
Because
times I feel like, go ahead.
Specifically because a situation like this will set off other imbalances within yourself, and that's what people
Oh,
don't
sure.
realize. This is now on a scale from 1 to 10, it's probably a 9, and it will offset any other kind of energies within your body, if it is from the digestion to the heart to your liver, it sets everything off balance. And it takes a while to really come out of the situation. Yes, I totally agree with you that these situations happen and we have to be ready for them.
You gotta pull yourself together.
Correct. And it
Yeah,
takes,
I think the number one thing is to be aware, to be constantly aware. And it's like sometimes I'm just so into thinking about things that I have to do, or, you know, errands that I have to make. And so I'm just not aware of the things that are going on around me. And I know I can see that that's a problem. And so being aware, which takes energy, to be aware of your surroundings at all times,
right.
especially when you think that you're in a fairly safe situation and then somebody comes into your field that's way in off balance. And you know, I don't usually have problems changing the energy of the situation, but sometimes you're just off balance and not ready for something like that.
Yeah, sorry, Susan, but your sound is breaking up again. We have a tough time understanding you. So, yes, your message is accepted and fully accepted. How about Kelly?
Oh, yeah, so I look at it like this, like how you explained, but I did also, because I work with angelic realm, and here's what they told me. Because I have had in my life many issues of this with environmental influence, and it's been a learning process. They said the safest, purest place is wherever I am. And another way is to leverage the energy of peace
Right.
from within, which is a very stable energy. It's a strength that lower frequencies will transform to higher vibration. Frequency sets have a bandwidth of vibration. And so in peace, wherever I am is the safest, purest place. And then I can then bend the energy of the environment around me. But it takes consciousness and practice. So and an allowance. And so this is what I've been doing, because it's been very draining for me to do it the other way. Yeah.
There are multiple ways to achieve what I call the ultimate calm. You know, the monks in the Himalayas and so on, they have their word, they're chanting, they're calming, they're just sing the sound of Om, you know, all those things, the bells which ring, you know, all those things. It is one principle. The other principle is I call the um, clearing of negativity within you. And it's difficult to achieve. It always breaks open at certain times. But if your focus is trained to see a positive in anything, then it becomes an automatic. It becomes that you see something in positive light. So I want to hit you, or I did hit you, and I have a black eye now, can be positive. Why can it be positive? Because I learned another lesson. So to look at the whole principle of life is looking at it with an outlook that says everything what I experience, everything what I see, what I hear, and what I encounter is positive to me. That is balance taking place right then and now. Because acknowledging that a negative thing taught you that it is not negative is a positive thing for you. So here you have the negative thing, and here you have the realization of that it was positive to you because now you can avoid it. Bingo, you're in level again. The teeter-totter has done its job. I think this is the most difficult thing for us to accept. I only know 2, 3 people which really have it in grip, which take anything which happens anywhere they are and look at it in a positive attitude, because even if it hurts them, it taught them a lesson and it was positive for them.
Hmm.
So learning how to get into this kind of state, that's what the whole balancing video is all about. To first demonstrate how you get out of alignment, and you get out of alignment all the time. And how you can reduce the stress level on you to avoid these kind of influences. And the last is to teach you how you can make anything, and it doesn't matter what, to a positive contribution to you. I hope I hear a comment on that one. I would appreciate it.
It makes sense to me because, um, something I do, I work with the, a centering exercise. And what I do when, if I get out, feel like I'm getting out of balance or something, I might go step aside somewhere and just close my eyes and bring myself down in the alpha state and get centered again.
You could as well ask yourself a question: why did it drag me down? In a moment where you say, give yourself the answer, you have learned something. It
That's
was
it.
valuable to you, and it will relieve the stress. It will start balancing you out. The recognition of it is the trigger which will do the balancing within you. And so I had a situation not too long ago. I'm on the freeway driving 75, and one of we had been on the left lane of 3, and a truck came from the right lane all the way on the right, drove straight over to the fast lane on the left and clipped that car. It didn't hit it, but the guy had to hit the brakes. And when he did, he lost control over the car. I
Wow,
was I was only about 100 feet behind
wow,
him. Some people would have hit the brakes, but I waited and let the took my foot off the gas and waited to see what would happen. And the guy went off the road after he hit the brakes so hard it swerved, and then he went off the road to the left. And I had no change in pulse. I had no change in heartbeat. I had no change in anything. The only thought I had, I want to see if I can catch this guy and get his phone, license plate. So I was not worried about myself. I was not worried about anybody else. And I saw the car, really coming to a stop on the grass, in the middle of the freeway. So I knew they are okay. I couldn't catch him. He went, I went up to 80 miles an hour and couldn't catch this guy. He was doing probably 90 after that incident. But my only interest was really to get the license plate.
Wow.
So, so you can take really hard situations and really pull them down and balance them out within you right then and there. If you are knowing, doesn't matter what happens, if somebody runs into him, into me, or whatever else happens, well, it's an experience and it has to be positive because I'm here for a task to do. And I got something in my throat now. I'm sorry, but you can't stay balanced in even these situations.
Wow.
Sorry for a second.
You got water? Oh, yeah, yeah, good. That's good.
So it's still, I'm sorry. So I let somebody else talk till this is gone within me.
Oh,
So and let's start on the left again. Deborah, what is your opinion to this final conclusion of mine?
I think everybody covered about everything. I just know sometimes it's just hard to stay balanced and to remember to be that way. It's easy to be triggered off, so.
It's training. It's absolute training. You have to train yourself to see it this way. And it's not easy, as I said. And I only know about 3-4 people which are capable of doing this to see the good in the negative. Because nobody wants to believe that this is the truth.
I think
Mm-mm.
I used to be that way a long time ago and got away from it. I think just because so many things happen in life that didn't happen earlier in life, and it's just changed me. And I'm coming back around, but it's work.
Yeah, it is work. It took me as well a while to get to this situation and accept that life is what it is, and whatever I'm getting out of life is positive for me. Yeah, it takes a while to get there. So, how about Leslie? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think we're always a work in progress, we're constantly a work in progress, and I think that's part of it too, we're peeling our own layers of our lives and things that trigger us. Like you said, like Deborah said, we get triggered by something that throws us off. So we work through that and we move on and till the next thing shows up. So I think it's just part of the ebb and flow of moving through our own process, our own inner soul process and our journey. So that's my
well, I think,
conclusion.
we have to work with it to reach the point where,
Mhm.
well, we're balanced constantly, the best way that we can be. And what you're saying, Ralph, what you went through there, I found that story very interesting. You were just looking for the license number and didn't even give thought to anything else. And that's where we were focusing.
Mhm.
Well, I knew that the guys had been okay, so you know, if they would have crashed, you know, what would it have helped for me to stop and stop the traffic along with me? No, but I saw them being okay on the median, so the interest automatically shifted, and because I'm always looking at the positive side. So, you know, it's a constant balancing act at every second and every moment in life. But having the concept that everything you are going through is positive helps a lot. It keeps you absolutely calm. It takes all the stress away from you, and it keeps you in harmony with yourself.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So Raul,
Yeah. Oh, my.
Yeah, a couple of things. One is I am familiar with this, you know, finding the good within everything. I almost have to do it. I've had to do it for many, many years. Sometimes it takes me a lot longer than I want to, and other times it's naturally there. The way I approached it is there was always some kind of divine perspective on any current life situation that was there for me to learn. So if there was somebody in a traffic, something going on with someone, says, okay, all right, that's what I'm perceiving, but I have a free will choice of perception. And what is the divine perspective on this so I can see through it, so I don't have that memory of a separated negative experience with me all day long. I find that, you know, it's been that like the way for a long time. The other one, which I've sort of probably used more often than anything else, is that I got to have I got to have the time to do this, and I usually do every day. But I become conscious of my own consciousness, and once I'm conscious of my own consciousness, then I don't put my thoughts into motion. And there's a place where I'm become conscious of my consciousness to such a level that the consciousness is a ball of light. And gradually I can expand that consciousness, and it protects me. It creates a beautiful current mind vibration, but it suspends thought. I've done a lot of the positive mental emotional building, and up to a point that's okay, but I've had some incidences where some of the most positive things have been arbitrarily reversed by people and things, just the tough lines on the road of doing healing work.
well, which helps you though to identify who is with you and who is not. So it's a
Yeah.
positive thing.
Yeah, I just an example. For example, worked with love and everything for decades, until the client from the other side sort of shows up, for whom love was exactly the opposite to what they wanted. So everything I would share to bring constructive, loving energy was reversed and thought as negative, because love was not, it was not in other words, I can let go into the love, and that looks like it's positive, and it is. But for someone other, letting go is just simply a negative thing. I don't know. Simple answer is that I've learned to become very, very, very forgiving. And as soon as my energies sort of get disrupted, I may not have the time right there and then, but sooner or later, I've got to just relax, empty my mind, let the unresolved issues sort themselves out, and not build a case where I end up collapsing into a negative spiral and rebuilding it. It's like two very, very deep extremes of light and dark, and having to balance my way through them.
You see, what I'm hearing from you is that you have to, and I disagree. You don't have to. You know, when you go in and have the attitude from the get-go, you know, I want to be better. I want to be good. Everything what happens to me is good. You don't have to go in these realms. That's what I refer to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just
Okay.
just
Okay.
as a comment from my side,
Mm.
let's give Susan a chance to voice herself as well. And then I think we can conclude this video. So Susan, you want to unmute yourself or you're speechless?
No, I'm just trying to press the wrong button. I'm actually laying on the couch with a sore throat, post nasal drip, and a bad cough. So I'm not really in the best of health to be doing this right now, which is why I'm sort of not participating very well.
All right, we got your message loud and clear. Thank you, Susan. Um, for everybody here, I will stop the recording and then we can talk a little more. So stay with us, and to everybody else, I hope you enjoyed the show, and give me your comments in the chat group or send me an email. Thank you very much for being here.